Hey there, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Bayern Munich have won the 2020 Champions League final, beating PSG 1-0. Not the goal fest we were all expecting, but it was a very good final nonetheless. Lou's joined me to review the game. So, what are your thoughts, Lou, on the match?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, Bill. I thought it was, like you said, it wasn't the sort of goal fest that everyone was hoping for, the sort of 5, 6 goal thriller. But I think if you're a football purist, I think you could really appreciate, like what a high level game that was against two elite teams trying to, kind of cancel each other out a little bit because they both sort of had that high press, didn't they? They were both squeezing each other's back lines and they were both kind of operating on counter attack. So yeah, I thought overall I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was really exciting. Like you say, not the sort of crazy goal fest, but I think it was a really high intensity competitive game. So yeah, was, I enjoyed it from a football purist perspective.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, mate. And there was still some good moments of quality from both sides in and attacking it and defensively as well, which was good to see. Obviously just the one goal was the winner. But I think, yeah, nonetheless, that it was some good play in the final. So let's start with the first half. I think first 15 minutes, so it was quite cagey, sort of not what we were expecting. We expected both teams to come out of the blocks, and that didn't really happen. But what we did expect was Bayern to play the very high line, which they usually do, and they did that. And there were times when they had the ball, and pretty much every one of their players was in PSG's half. But then suddenly, PSG, they were playing the ball out from the back, but pinning the balls out wide and trying to find, Mbappe and Di Maria out in the wider areas, and they're getting a bit of joy with that. Mbappe had a couple of efforts that were blocked, one by Goretzka and the other by Kimmich. And then the first big chance in the final, 17, 18 minutes. Nice ball by Mbappe, fed Neymar, and it's well saved by Manuel Neuer. And then a few more chances, weren't there? So Lewandowski hit the post. A chance for Di Maria after a good play by Herrera, nice reverse ball.
Yeah.
Which it was on Di Maria's right foot, but it seemed to me that. I would not to hear your thoughts on this, Lou, but PSG were keeping a good shape defensively when Bayern had the ball, and even like Di Maria and Mbappe were getting into good defensive areas. So Bayern couldn't play those penetrating forward balls like they like to do.
Yeah. I think, like you said, it was quite cagey at the start. I think both teams were sort of having that feeling out period, weren't they? The one thing that did actually really impress me, and seems to be like a difference from previous years, but was players like Neymar playing quite defensively. The PSG seemed, I don't know what you think about that, Bill, but they seem to be playing quite well as a defensive unit. They traditionally, players like Neymar and Mbappe are a bit more the sort of stylistic flair, and they go off and do their thing and they win the game. But I was quite impressed with the sort of disciplined performance they put in as well. I thought Mbappe looked good on the wings as well when they were trying to exploit him. And again, I thought PSG played really well in tight spaces as well, especially with the Herrera through ball to Di Maria, who unfortunately missed it. But, I thought there was some really good play there. And especially the way that they pressed Bayern's high line as well. They really squeezed them, didn't they? Especially when they're trying to play out from the back with Neuer and things like that, and closing down Davies.
Yeah, that I was going to mention that I think about midway through the first half, PSG changed their pressing style. They were a bit more withdrawn and had a bit of a lower block in the first quarter. But in the second quarter, as you mentioned, they had more of a full court press and forced Bayern into a few defensive mistakes, giving the ball away. And that's what led to Di Maria's chance, which he probably should have done better, really. If it was on his left foot, I think it would have been on target. I was impressed with how PSG were disciplined, and even the attacking players were not making things easy for Bayern to find, Thiago and Muller and the two wingers, Gnabry and Coman in that first half. I think Thomas Tuchel obviously deserves a bit of credit for getting them, Neymar and Mbappe to do that. And Lewandowski had another header on the half hours, well saved by Navas. But the big chance in the first half was from Mbappe, that the player you wanted to fall the Bayern again were giving it away. Herrera, great cutback to Mbappe, 12 yards out. He thought, goalie to beat the player he wanted to ball to, and he fluffed it.
Yeah, yeah. Again, he didn't see. He sort of had a bit of an off night, didn't he? Really, tonight. I don't think he looked. The sort of chances we've grown accustomed to him scoring, he sort of, it didn't work out for him as well as it usually did tonight. I thought he was really good creatively. I think he made a lot of good runs and he drew a lot of defenders and made some good balls and opportunities. But his finished product wasn't quite there tonight, was it? It sort of just didn't fall for him right.
Yeah. Same with Neymar really as well. And then so you get to half time, and then my thoughts on the first half were, as we said about PSG, very good discipline, and the fact that apart from Lewandowski had a couple of chances, but Muller, Gnabry barely had a kick. Bernat, PSG's left back, I thought was really good, snuffed out Gnabry and Kimmich. And then Coman started to get into the game at the end of the first half, and there was a possible penalty shout when Kehrer took him down. With no penalty given. But I say Muller, Gnabry were barely in it. But obviously that's something that they need to work on in the second half. Bayern Munich, but I think that was down to PSG's good shape as we've mentioned. So we'll move on to the second half now. And again, the first 15 minutes, so Bayern, I think they found it hard to pass forward. It's easy, sitting there to say, they could have passed it a bit quicker, but it's a final, it's hard to do so. And I think, PSG shape with the three in midfield, Marquinhos, Paredes, and Herrera. It's hard for find spaces for like some Muller to get in behind. But then it all changed with the winner on the hour mark, didn't it?
Yeah, and what an unbelievable bit of play that was, especially with that first ball from Thiago. And just the whole build-up play, I think, was absolutely fantastic. And they were I think the commentary team at the time was sort of talking about they just need something to kind of get the game going. Someone to take a bit of responsibility, or something happened. Yeah. And it seemed they sort of sprung into life and did that thing that Bayern have done so well, where they dictate play and they really dictate the tempo, don't they? And I thought they played a fantastic sort of up in tempo and pace, and just made one of their brilliant counters and created something out of nothing. It was a fantastic ball into Coman as well, wasn't it? And I think he terrorised Kehrer tonight, didn't he, on that left-hand side? Absolutely terrorised him.
Yeah, definitely. The last sort of 15 minutes of the first half, and then and up until he went off. I'm surprised he went off. That's how well he played, obviously, apart from the goal. But no, he gave Kehrer an absolute nightmare.
And there was another one, wasn't it? They exploited that again a couple of minutes after as well, was when he tried to cut it back to Lewandowski, and I think it was Kempembe got like a header on it and cleared it away. But they were really, like you say, Bill, they were going really hard down that left-hand side, weren't they, and trying to use that to exploit that, because he was not having a good time with Coman's pace, and then you've got Alphonso Davies on the overlap as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I think going back to the goal, I think great ball, as you said, by Thiago. And to Kimmich, who wasn't out wide on the right, he was tucked inside. Found Gnabry. A really good cross. But the touch by Muller for me was key to this. If his ball was slightly wider, then I think PSG's defence could have come out and snuffed out Kimmich. But the ball was bang on, and it allowed him to find a fantastic cross. And then Kingsley Coman was unmarked and a really good header. You've got to do what it's always a youngster: aim your shot or aim your header across the goal. And he did so. A good header past Navas, who had no chance.
Yeah.
And for me, be interested to see what you think, Lou. But I think after that, Bayern just controlled the game, absolutely controlled the game. Playing with confidence, passing was a lot crisper, and pulling the PSG midfielders out of position, which they weren't able to do before the goal.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, I think they really took control at that point, didn't they? I think they really sort of bossed that midfield. I thought they really frustrated Neymar and Mbappe. They sort of took them out of the game. Neymar in particular, I think every time he had the ball, he was surrounded by three players. Yeah. They just really sort of dictated everything at that point, didn't they? I think by the end of the game, I think PSG had 35% possession.
Yeah, it was around that.
Yeah, which obviously, against two elite teams, that is an amazing stat in a final, I think. But it just shows you how dominant they were. And once they got some confidence, they really dictated everything. I was going to ask you, Bill, as well. I think was it Paredes that I thought he had a bit of a horror show, especially with some terrible balls trying to set the PSG team up, like some
Especially second,
rogue balls
yeah.
forward. Yeah.
Second half, first half I was impressed him, Marquinhos Herrera, as I say, but I think I was surprised he went off second half. Some of the through balls, when some runs, really well timed runs by the front three, but he couldn't find them, so it wasn't surprised that he went off and Verratti come on. But yeah, I just think the passing from PSG's midfield in the second half wasn't there really, and that's why PSG barely created anything in that second half. The forward runs and the balls played in behind in the first half. That's where they got the chances, but there was none of that really in the second half. And if there was, Bayern's defence were resolute and managed to get some blocks and snuff out the chances. It was only made really in stoppage time, I think, when they're promoting and a sub. He had a chance, but he couldn't connect Neymar's cross. So apart from that, I don't really remember Neuer making any real saves. We'll wrap this up now. So just in terms of who your man of the match was, I think obviously goal scorer Kingsley Coman will get the headlines. And I think obviously got the winner, but I think he's the threat he was, as I say, at the end of the first half and all of the second half before he come off. I thought he was the one who really stood out for me. What about you?
Yeah, I think you'd be hard pressed to disagree with that. I thought there was lots of players that put in a really good performance. I thought Muller worked his socks off. I thought Kimmich was really good. Thiago was really good. But I think, given what he created for the team and the goal, I think you'd be hard pressed to disagree that Kingsley Coman deserves that tonight. I thought he was very, very good.
Yeah, and I thought for PSG, unfortunately none of the front three were able to sort of shine throughout. I thought the midfield three were good in the first half, but I thought Thiago Silva, I thought he was unlucky to be on the sort of losing side. I thought it was an immense performance in his last game for PSG. So, but yeah, I feel on the balance of play, I think Bayern sort of deserved it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Juan Bernat deserves a mention as well. I know you mentioned him at the start of the video, but I thought he was fantastic all game until he went off with that looked like a bit of an injury, didn't it? Against his old club. But yeah, no, I think you're right, Bill. You'd have probably hard. I think the right team won tonight. I thought they were really, really spectacular. They looked. I think that was the one big difference is you could see. I mean, first of all, we'll have to credit both bosses because I thought Thomas Tuchel's done a really good job, especially from the last couple of years. He has improved them to get where they are, and he's got the stars playing well as defensive. But Hansi Flick, that's the same team that lost that game to Eintracht Frankfurt, and they haven't lost a game since December. In the modern game, that is
good.
And you think they've added no one to that. So, I think it's a testament to what a special team they are. But yeah, they thoroughly deserved it tonight. I thought they bossed it. They really controlled it. Second half, they took control, never let go, and strangled the opposition threats. So. Yeah, I think it'll be, and you think they're going to be adding Leroy Sané to that next year?
Yeah, that's Friday, isn't
it? Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great game.
Cool. Well, thanks, Lou. Yeah, I think as you said, Bayern's in-game management the second half went a long way to them winning it tonight. So yeah, thanks for Lou for your thoughts. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching, guys. If you are new to our channel, smash that subscribe button and follow us on the socials. And let us know your match thoughts in the comments below. It'd be great to read those. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Cheers.